Let's begin today's Vanguard news with Dear Days 2 going all out on the vintage format rules by allowing players to mix clans. For those who didn't know, Vanguard originally allowed the mixing of clans due to the low card pool and only put a soft rule against it during the end of Limit Break era with the Lord mechanic, and made it a hard rule during the Legion era because Thingsaver Dragon kept humping over Phantom Blaster Abyss. And this mode will also have G-Assist, so that players who started in the D series won't ever feel the harsh reality of being grade stuck. I still find it hilarious to this day that it's still called G-Assist, even when you don't have a G-Zone. For the Bavsagra mains who were hoping to get a new form in DZBT05, best to go back into Cryo Sleep, because Bushir rode up to give Alquilibra more support instead. Summit Flare Dragon gets all its abilities if you have no cards in your G-Zone. While in your hand, you can discard itself, and returning to cards originally from your ide deck and your solo drop zone back to your ide deck face up. If you have a grade 3 or higher Vanguard, to add up to one grade 3 or higher card with a different name than your Vanguard from the top 7 cards of your deck, you return this card to your hand. If you did not add a card with this ability, and when it's put on the Guardian Circle, it gets 5k shields. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in their drop zone, then you can bind a grade 3 or higher card from your solo drop zone if your opponent has a card in their G zone to get 10k shields. A bit unfair that Dragon Empire's cycle card only needs the opponent to have 4 cards in their drop zone when it's the easiest condition. Bushiro playing favorites like usual. By Deshizen Dragon while on the Guardian Circle gets 10k shields if you have 3 or more rear guards with the overcharge ability. And while on rear guard, it gets 10k power if it was chosen by your grade 3 or higher Alquilibra Vanguard's ability this turn. The fact that it only becomes a 15k shield if you have 3 certain rear guards is some Keta Sanctuary levels of bad. On a side note, why does this card's artwork feel like it was originally made for Varina, but got repurposed at the last minute? Abshujavita Dragon when placed on rear guard lets you put up to 1 non-trigger card from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. If you have a grade 3 or higher Alquilibra Vanguard, then you can pay 1 counter blast if you returned a grade 3 or higher card with this ability to draw a card. And while on rear guard, you can put itself into your soul at the end of the battle it attacked, and it was chosen by your grade 3 or higher Alquilibra Vanguard's ability this turn to give one of your units 5k power. Most Alquilibra builds only run Persona Rides for their grade 3 lineup, so either this card was meant to return your Persona Rides back, or to return another copy of itself. And this card's artwork has me more convinced that this was meant to be a prayer dragon, but was turned into Alquilibra's support instead. Dragarita Pardia when placed on rear guard from hand, lets you add up to 1 card with the overcharge ability, but with a different name than herself, or to equilibrize the scales of the world order from the top 7 cards of your deck. Then put 1 card in hand into your soul if you added a card with this ability. And while on rear guard, she gets 10k power if she was chosen by your grade 3 or higher Alquilibra Vanguard's ability this turn. A card that lets you filter your deck for free as well as giving yourself a soul to work with. She's definitely going to be a staple in the deck. Finally, we got another Vanguard Skyride manga promo. This time it's for Stoicheia. And no, it's not a Shenri clone. Deep Lance Midas when placed on rear guard, that isn't by unit's card ability lets you pay 1 soul blast if you played a normal order this turn to either call a card with a grade equal or lower to your Vanguard, or add a normal order from the top 5 cards of your deck. And while on rear guard, you can pay 2 energy when she attacks, and your rear guard was placed from your drop zone this turn to prevent one of your opponent's rear guards from intercepting and being able to stand on your opponent's next stand phase. Then she gets 5k power if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher. So Stoicheia finally gets a Teeth Out clone. And with the nation having a handful of order cards that can revive units from the drop zone, Stoicheia finally has their own nation pile. Now all they need is a Sergon clone. Then again, the nation already has Inlet Pulse Dragon, and giving them more ways to draw is just too powerful. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what mix clan deck are you going to build in Dear Days 2.